I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show. And yes, indeed, friends, here we are again this week. One more time, thanks to sales of our guns, especially the sales of our kits on our new 460 cartridge, and certainly due to your donations, because some of you out there care that this message goes on the air. You know, I've been listening to some of the talk show hosts around the country, reading news articles, different things going on, and right now we have the chief draft dodger in the White House who is conducting a Vietnamese-esque type war, making all the decisions. Do you know, I heard today that a decision was made not to bomb Milosevic, whatever the guy's name is, who's heading up the Serb outfit over there. And they decided not to bomb the presidential palace because it had an expensive painting in there. Now, you see, friends, this is not real war. This is play war. This is like a video game or something of these clowns in the White House. Now, that's true. They don't understand. They don't understand. None of them have military experience. None of them have any clue. Normally, the people that we would see in the White House, this is important. I want to bring this up this week. You know, my mother, who will be 86, and helps me every day on this project. She is a wonderful help to me every day. She'll be 86, actually in May. And she made a comment the other day where I was talking about how difficult it was, and she looked at me and she said, "You know, Johnny, we're not sissies." I said, "No, ma'am." No, we're not. And you know, friends, that said so much to me, because what we've got is a bunch of cowardly sissies in the White House. And you know what? The bully, many times the bully and the coward and the sissy were all the same people. When you saw the bully on the playground, if somebody walked up and punched him in the nose, guess what? He was reduced most of the time to a sniveling crybaby. Now, that's what we got in Washington, D.C. We've got a sissy. President of the United States, Bill Clinton, and if you government folks, we know we have government people watch this program every week, you can pass on a memo if you want to, that the Shooting Show and Johnny Rowland called Bill Clinton a big sissy. He's nothing but a cowardly, draft-dodging sissy. Hey, that's the way it is. Because typically, friends, a lot of these bully-type people just like that, who are so power-hungry, who are power-mad, when it comes their turn at bat, or their turn to take the punishment, or their turn to do anything that is hard or that counts, they go about whimpering and, "Oh my, I had no idea." And there is already some testimony out there from one of Bill Clinton's old girlfriends on how, and that's what she said, how he'd dress up in feminine clothing and prance around. Well, we've all friends, if it wasn't so serious, it would be uproariously humorous. But we're talking about people that are perverts, people that are nuts. You know, people that are absolutely nuts. And you know, we have a situation now where we have people that aren't qualified to lead a dog patrol or a bunch of ants going toward their hole, who are actually directing our U.S. military, which, by the way, we talked about last week, is reduced to half its strength over just what it was around 10 years ago. Half its strength. Clinton has shot, see, it's a video war to them. He says, "Hey, press a little button, you know, it goes bang over here. Hey, we got a few cruise missiles. A few $1 million means nothing to them because they don't work. They don't work for it. They don't do anything but siphon off income from the American taxpayer. Or heck, they make it up themselves on their electronic machines there in Washington. You know, we have people that don't have a clue and don't care about the real world. I saw something the other day. Clinton made a statement saying, hey, didn't bother him. He was impeached. He didn't care. And you know, friends, I think for once, for a change, he told the truth. He really doesn't care. Because, friends, these people regard the rest of us, and I'm talking about these people at the highest echelons in Washington, regard us as, hey, we're all expendable. We're just citizens. So what, you know? You know, if they get rid of you or me, or they'll get somebody else to do their work for them, whatever. They see us as unimportant, as expendable. Well, something's got to change on this, friends. Those of us on the right side, the people who care about our country, that care about our gun rights, whatever they may be, more of us have got to get involved, and some of us have got to put our differences aside on the right side, and we've got to start working together. You see, on the liberal left, on the socialist liberals, they don't care. They go for anything. Don't matter. Don't make any difference. They go for anything. Hey, you know, and by the way, now that we have another police action / war going on, hey, where is Joan Baez saying kumbaya, whatever? Where are they? You know, where are the peaceniks who have supported Clinton in the past, but where are they? Where are they? You know, that's another reason to be suspect on this whole operation. Look who is supporting it. Typically, the liberal socialists, the doves, the people said, oh, no, we don't want to hurt anybody. Oh, no. They're all supporting this. See, what very suspicious crowd supporting this fiasco in Kosovo. I think that's how it's best termed, the fiasco in Kosovo. Of course, Clinton has committed U.S. military forces, and we were talking, my wife talked to someone the other day, a young service person who was in a group of people, and this young man who was in the military said, well, it was a good idea to go over there and stop those people from hurting each other. What business is it of ours? Now, you know Heather, she's pretty outspoken. That's what she said. Where do we get off interfering in somebody else's civil war that they've been fighting for 600 years? Where do we get off? We got enough problems here in the United States with our own people, much less going halfway around the world and sticking our nose in where something into an affair the American public has not been told the truth on. What in the world are they thinking? Well, this all gets back to the United Nations. This is not really a NATO operation. This is a United Nations operation. These folks would not be over in Kosovo. They wouldn't be in the shape they're in if it weren't for the United Nations policies. You see, if there are 9 Albanians for every Serbian, why are those 1 in 10 Serbians kicking the fire out of the Albanians? Now, something's wrong here. Guess why, friends? They don't have any guns. They don't have anything to fight back with, because the United Nations, in its infinite wisdom, gave the Serbs all the weapons. Well, it seems the poor Muslims, the poor Albanians, they got left without. So you know what? When a bunch of soldiers or a bunch of people come to your front door and they say, get out of your house and get out of the country, in fact, we think we'll kill 2 or 3 of you along the way, and you don't have anything to fight back with, what you gonna do? Well, you're either going to just die on the spot, or you're going to make a run for it. Well, these nice people at the United Nations don't think you or I, because we're civilians, we're not part of their umbrella group. They don't think we ought to have guns at all because, hey, we might resist their nice police force in their ninja suits when they come to our homes. Whoa, so hey, so we don't want anybody hurt on our side. That's what them say. So hey, let's just take all the guns. So we'll have complete control. Now, friends, that's what it's about. You know, it's been so hard for us to gain support for our program here because so many of our gun owners are so apathetic. Well, I don't want to make waves. You know, I'm doing pretty good. I'm sitting here in my place and I got a few bullets and I'm doing... Guess what, friends? You want to be the only one left? And you know, if there's no one to help defend your home, no one to help you out, well, hey, it's not much of a match when they send their police forces out to you. Even if you got a few bullets, what you gonna do against 50 people or 100 people or whatever else? And you know what? If small arms like this AR-15, especially in our good caliber here, a 460, if small arms weren't so important, if they weren't, why would the nice liberal socialist be trying so hard to take them away? See, friends, you have to look at the questions being asked and the aims put forth. If these are supposedly so ineffective against the police state, why would they be worried? Why would they mind us having these at all if they had complete power, complete control? If these were so ineffective. You know, this week, a lot of things happening. Of course, we've got a lot to talk about on today's program. We have some things we're going to show you I think are very important. But let me bring up something. In Missouri this week, the concealed carry law, or the referendum Proposition B, the state's right to carry ballot referendum, was defeated by the people in Missouri. Let me tell you how this worked. It was defeated, I think it was 52% against, 48% for. And I talked to some people from Missouri a while back, and they said, hey, it's going to be a shoe-in. But you know what? The liberal socialists went out there and went to work. They didn't play. They went out there and went to work. And they don't care that everywhere concealed carry has been enacted, crime has gone down everywhere. They don't care about that. They just care about disarming more of us. And they changed the language somewhat of the original. The liberal socialists were able to change it. And they essentially lied to the constituents there in Missouri about what the proposition said. And all it did was going to issue a concealed carry permit to law-abiding citizens 21 years of age or older. It was going to let them carry guns outside their home for their own protection after having passed a state and federal criminal background check and having completed a firearms safety training course approved by the Missouri Department of Public Safety. And you know, that's reasonable, friends. That's reasonable. But you know, Hillary Rodham Clinton, who went down there and campaigned heavily against it. In fact, Hillary even had a phone bank, had a telemarketing outfit. And you know who they targeted? They targeted women and people from the inner cities. The people who, Hillary is very popular with some women, and they use scare tactics, saying, hey, everybody's going to be shooting each other. It's a terrible thing. And guess who else went down there and spent a ton of money? The Department of Justice. The federal government was out in Missouri campaigning against concealed carry. Now, if that's not illegal, heck, Hillary don't count. My goodness, anybody who'd listen to Hillary Clinton, they need to have their head checked anyway. Although she was effective, my goodness, the first lady, the wife of the president down there, coming down there and making her plea, oh, please don't pass this, it'll be terrible, it'll be blood in the streets. That's what she was saying or implying. Now, what business is it of Hillary Clinton's what the people in Missouri do? None whatsoever. But she's down there, and the Justice Department was campaigning again against concealed carry in the state of Missouri. What are they doing? You see, friends, the Justice Department under Janet Witch of Waco, Reno, does not believe that you and I have the right to own personal firearms. They flatly don't believe it. Hey, it don't matter if they believe it, they don't want it. They don't want us to have personally owned firearms because, hey, again, they can't have their nice police state. Now then, just for you folks in Missouri, let me tell you some of the people that came out and funded the effort to defeat Proposition B there. Handgun Control sent $141,000, a little over that. How about the Development Specialist of Greater Kansas City? $35,000. The Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce spent $25,000. Hallmark Cards spent $20,000 to defeat the concealed carry. Southwestern Bell Telephone spent $11,700. The Commerce Bank of Kansas City spent $10,000, along with Commerce Bank, St. Louis, Unity Health, DST System, Express Scripts, SSM Health Systems, and a whole bunch of American Century companies, which includes Blue Cross, Blue Shield, a whole bunch of others spent $5,000. Hey friends, what are they doing? There's more. How about, and let me see if I can find this, because this is something here. The St. Louis Rams and the St. Louis Cardinals, again, helped to defeat Castillo. Great sports teams there. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Some of the people who don't believe that we as Americans, as free Americans, have the right to keep and bear arms and use them in self-defense. They don't trust us, friends. Guess what? All these nice folks here, I don't trust them either. And I think that the folks at Southwestern Bell Telephone should hear about just how much you as gun owners appreciate them helping to defeat this. And probably some of you folks that have season tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals and St. Louis Rams, you might just give them a call. Faultless Starch, Bonami, Kansas City Royals, Kansas City Chiefs. Those nice folks should hear about how you don't appreciate them trying to interfere in your life and keep you from protecting yourself. You know, we talk about sissies. The mentality is that you and I are not capable of being personally responsible for our own well-being. Now see, that is right out of the socialist handbook, friends. And when we're not responsible, we're going to let the nice government do everything for us. No, we're not. We're not going to let the government do everything for us, because they'll run every moment of our lives. But that's what they have in mind. See, that's a sissy mentality. Well, I can't help it. And, you know, the only thing that is respected by these liberal socialists is strength. That's the only thing that's respected. That's it. And if we as gun owners don't become better organized, you know what? You can join our GRA. You can help us stay on the air every week. We flatly don't know. We have some good news here. Our friend Ed Hubble, whom you saw on the program a while back, has been working toward putting together a satellite TV network that is gun friendly. And Ed didn't know much about TV, but you know what? Ed wouldn't quit. I respect that. The fact that, heck, when I started in the television business, I didn't know much about TV, but you know, I wouldn't quit. Well, there's somebody else. There's Ed Hubble up there, and he just refuses to quit. And I admire that. And Ed has made a deal where he's going to have a block of programming starting on May 8th. That's Saturday night at 7 o'clock. We'll have the satellite coordinates later. And Ed's going to give our program a chance to be on also. So it's a reduction in price, which will be a huge help to all of us in reaching more people. So you see, friends, it can be done. But it won't get done if most of us just sit around and don't worry about it. And open another 6-pack of beer and, you know, and not worry about a doggone thing. Because you know what? Freedom has to have the installments paid regularly. And that's where so many of us have dropped the ball. We've lost the understanding that freedom has to be paid for all. Remember the old Purelator commercial where the old boy says, all right, you can put these filters on, you can pay me now for these filters that'll help keep your motor clean. Or hey, you can pay me for an engine later on when it grinds to a halt. Well, you know what, friends? If we pay and we work a little toward freedom every day, well, then that time when society grinds to a halt, and then we're fighting for our lives against a tyrannical government, see, that can be avoided. But unfortunately, so many of us have not seen the need to contribute or to pay our share toward keeping our freedom. You want to help us stay on the air? You can. You want to join our GRA, Gun Owner Rights Association? You can. It's $50 for an annual membership. It's $300 for a life membership. And that's been a help to keep us on the air, because we keep thinking if we just stay on long enough, we'll get some breaks. If we just hang in there and refuse to quit, we'll get a break somewhere. We got a little break on the cartridge. Later this year, it's going to be a big help to us. It's already a help, but later this year, we have to get there. We have to survive to get there. And if we stay on television long enough, you know what? We're going to reach enough people who will help. We're going to reach enough numbers out there that we're going to get enough people involved. We can do something about this. You can certainly help us by, if you can donate anything, just Coke money, anything at all, toward helping us stay on the air. You can by sending it to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Duberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. You can join our GRAs, $50 for an annual membership. We can take credit cards now. $300 life membership, and we thank all of you who have, and all of those few people, and it's not a lot, just a few, have contributed to keep us on the air. We appreciate it so much. Hey, we're here again today, and we're talking about the truth. That's why we're here. Remember our kits for the 1911, and we do emphasize that our 460 Rowland kit, essentially giving 44 Magnum power to the great 1911, also in revolvers, but the kit is to go on the 1911 type gun, the Colt or Springfield, or certainly the great Kimbers that are out there. There are other good ones out there. We ask you, please don't put our kit, we don't recommend, don't put it on a war veteran, a war relic from World War II or before, because the heat treat is not the same. It wasn't the same then as it is today. Today's steel is much tougher, and realize that this is a very high performance cartridge. It turns the low-keyed, low-power 45 automatic into a roaring 44 Magnum class handgun. You don't want to put a Chrysler Hemi or a Ferrari motor in an old clunker. You want to put it in the best gun you got, and you want one of modern manufacture. So the kits are only $275. Yes, Georgia Arms is shipping ammunition. Yes, Starline is sold out of the first run of brass. They've made more this week. They assured me they will not run out of 460 Rowland brass. So they were making another, I don't know how many thousand rounds they ran this week, but that's a good sign. It means our cartridge is catching on. It means it's taking off. And in these uncertain times, friends, don't you want the very best? And that's what we're talking about, power. We had someone ask the other day, he said, Johnny, could they take our carbine and hunt deer out at 150 or so yards? I said, sure can. Sure can if you can hit them. And certainly, you can put a scope on these guns. They perform extremely well. But you know, I don't know if there's a need for the carbine. Heck, just observe our water bottle out here at 200 yards. Let's see how the pistol does on it today. Yeah, I believe that'll work on a deer. And just for fun, since we're here, down here at 100 yards. Yeah, it's fun play.
Stay tuned for more of The Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, here it is. This is the great Georgia Arms 45 DA Colt or double action Colt cartridge. This is the first major improvement on the Colt 45 since 1873. They have this in loaded cowboy ammunition. They're also selling brass, so you can load your own combinations. This cartridge case is absolutely a joy to work with. We're even seeing improved accuracy, we think due to the slightly larger rim on our 45 DA Colt case. You can get a free catalog, or you can order these from Georgia Arms, 1-800-624-6861 for their entire lineup, and please tell them you saw it here on our show. Now friends, of course, the cowboy load is mild but super accurate. And of course, you can take your hand loads up to the limit of what the loading manuals will allow. The great 45 double action Colt cartridge from Georgia Arms. Give them a call today, friends. A free phone call with a free catalog.
And yes, Georgia Arms has the best lineup of rifle and handgun ammunition available in the U.S. It's also at discount prices. Yes, they are manufacturing and shipping our 460 Rowlands cartridge, so don't worry about that. Now we're up to 2 loads, so it's exciting. We have the full-powered 185 at 1,550 feet per second out of the pistol, and they also have a new service load, which is a little bit less velocity, also a little bit less cost, and a little easier to shoot. Anyway, give them a call today, 1-800-624-6861. I wouldn't put it off, friends. I'd try and put some ammo back if I all could.
Now, friends, we're looking at one of the great 22 rifles today. This is a Marlin 39, and let's ease up and take a closer look at it. You'll notice that the Marlin people are still doing awfully nice woodwork on some of their guns, certainly a lot of them. And you'll notice that gold trigger, they call it the Golden Model 39. But you'll see this big screw right here, and that is a takedown screw. We'll show you how that works in just a moment. But these are some of the finest 22 lever action rifles ever made by anyone. And notice it still has the long tubular magazine underneath the barrel, and the assault rifle, so-called assault rules don't apply at this time to the 22 rifles with the tubular magazine. Who knows what will happen in the future. But anyway, that's certainly a good feature. You can load them up and shoot for a while. This, of course, has the great Night Force scope on it. And a friend of our program, one of our viewers, was actually nice enough to loan us this. And this scope probably costs more than the rifle here. But it has an illuminated reticle, so when it's in low light conditions, notice this little piece up here on top, you can turn that on and it lights up the lines inside the scope. These are very, very fine scopes. Let's take a look at how it takes down. Now friends, someone might say, well, why would you want a takedown rifle? All you have to do, we had loosened this previously. Normally this will be tight. You can take a coin or a large screwdriver, and what you do is the bolt here will only come out so far, and all you have to do is just sort of bump it here, and now you have a much shorter overall package. It's much easier to stow in a bag or a case, easier to take with you. So very simple. In fact, you can see the inner workings of the gun. Certainly makes it easy to clean having this particular feature, and it doesn't affect the accuracy taking it down. At least it hadn't in our tests anyway. And very easy to clean the inner workings of the trigger mechanism. You can see just how the gun works. And I'll just show you briefly. These guns also have a crossbolt safety that blocks the hammer. Hammer can't go forward unless that safety is off here. But you'll notice how the lever works. It comes back and will cock the action there. It will cock the hammer. And this is the carrier. This raises the cartridge. It releases the cartridge out of the magazine, raises it up, and puts it in line for the barrel there. So a great system that has proven itself over many years of it being in production. Friends, put the gun back together, and yes, it is tightly fitted. Just takes a little bit of practice there. Just put it back in place, and then you'll run your screw back down into it there, and be sure that it's good and tight. Don't want to break it, but you do want it good and tight. And of course now the action will function. There we go. Now friends, a lot of us have semi-automatic 22 rifles, and in fact they're less expensive typically than the lever guns. But let me tell you what, these Marlins are among the finest made of the 22 caliber rifles, regardless of what configuration it is. They're very, very nicely made. And see, this gun will shoot shorts, longs, and long rifles. This would be an excellent gun in a survival application because it'll shoot whatever's handy. And yes, occasionally you will have a 22 due to the rimfire system here on the 22 calibers. There are 22 rimfires. You will occasionally have a misfire, and all you have to do is, you don't have to reach down and fiddle with your gun. All you have to do is eject that round and close it on a new one. So there are some real advantages. If you have a snap, it's a very small interruption in your shooting, and that occasionally happens on all 22 rimfire, because remember, the priming compound is spun into the rim of the cases, and occasionally there will be a thin spot there. Also, you've got a very strong hammer fall that is going, if there's any priming compound at all in the rim of that little cartridge, is going to probably set it off. So there are a number of very desirable characteristics about these lever action Marlins. Now typically the gun like this would be used for squirrel hunting or rabbit rabbit hunting, something like that, at the closer ranges, because the 22 rimfire is not exactly a powerhouse, but let me tell you what, it is not to be taken lightly either. So let's go ahead, shoot the gun out here at 25 yards, and that'll give us a pretty good indication of what it's going to do. We're not going to have time today to shoot it at 50, but let's go ahead and try it at 25. We have three brands of ammo here. We have some Ely bench rest and 22 long rifle. We have some CCI mini mags, and we also have some of the Remington high velocity golden bullets there. And let's shoot some groups with each one, and let's just see how it performs at 75 feet or 25 yards. Friends, you don't have a lot of noise, of course, with this 22 long rifle, but you know what? We want to protect your hearing when you're down shooting on the range, when you're doing a lot of shots, shooting a lot of shots. You darn sure want to have hearing protection, and you just can't afford not to. My goodness. Okay, what we're going to do, we have the three loads here, and these operate very simply, and we know this gun is empty. We had an empty cartridge there we were checking it with. All right, we're going to apply our crossbolt safety here and take our magazine tube. In fact, we'll just take it out and make it easier loading. And we'll load our cartridges. Let's load the Remingtons first. We've had pretty good luck with these Remingtons. They're inexpensive. You can buy them at the discount houses. Then let's come with the CCI Maxi Mags. That way we'll only have to load it one time. All right, that's 5. And then last we'll put in the Ely target load. And heck, let's just see what it'll do out here. Now then, we're loaded. Go ahead and put our tube back in it. Somebody used to make a tube that literally was a little clear plastic tube that held spare 22 rounds in reserve. It was like sort of carrying an extra magazine. I don't remember who that was, but it was a good idea. You could just load 15 of them at a time, which was a good idea. Okay, and yes, we have our remote camera, because there's no way that I would shoot this close to any camera person. You know, we're not crazies here. Go ahead and get lined up. And the first one we're going to shoot is the Remington load. Lever one in, push safety off, and get set. Remember, take your time when you're bench resting, because you want to see the accuracy potential of the gun and load combination. We're not going to bore you with watching me shoot these 3 different groups here, but certainly we'll show procedure. Okay. Right there's one. And it throws them smartly out. I like that. Okay. All right.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. And we want to mention the good folks at Clark Custom Guns in Princeton, Louisiana, one of the most complete gun shops in the entire United States. They do all sorts of things like this specialty meltdown on this new STI gun. Also, they have an excellent staff of people to help you with guns such as these Benelli Super Black Eagles taking 3.5-inch magnums, a complete line of handguns, semi-automatics, revolvers, all sorts of neat things in the shop there. And of course, here's Mr. Jim Clark himself out helping a customer, some of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. They have a complete line of loading supplies, loading tools, gunpowder, you name it, primers, all sorts of accessories for your guns, whatever you might need, certainly within reason. Here's Kay Clark Michalik when she's not winning championships, back working there in the office. And here's her husband, Jerry Michalik, the fastest revolver shooter in the world, when he's not winning championships at work. Here's Jim Clark Jr. back on the lathe, the same drill, when he's not winning championships, working right there in the shop. That's why you can get such complete quality of product and expertise here at Clark Custom Guns. Friends, give them a call today, area 318-949-9884. They have a great catalog. We appreciate them supporting our project.
Now here we have the Remington, we have the CCI, then we have the Ely. And let's see what it did, friends. Now realize that these guns come with a somewhat harder trigger, and the lawyers have forced that. You don't find really good triggers on much new from the factory today. You can certainly have your gun worked on, but I'm fighting a fairly stiff trigger here. But let's see what it did here at 25 yards. Okay, this one's 65/100ths of an inch. We're measuring, the way we measure groups, we measure from the center of the furthest holes apart. That's how we measure groups. Center to center, not the outside edge, but the center to center, which is easier than you might think. Okay, this one is about 8/10ths of an inch. Okay, and the Ely looks pretty good. All right, this one is showing 55/100ths of an inch. And 4 of them are in one hole. So this was my first shot, the one up high, so who knows? I obviously need to get out here and work with it a little bit. There's no telling just how well the gun will shoot, but I tell you what, for a factory rifle that will shoot into around 1/2-inch circles at 25 yards, that is terrific performance. Certainly off-the-shelf ammo, discount house ammo, 65/100ths of an inch. And see, these aren't the best. These are the only groups we shot. This is not the best of 5 or best of whatever. This is all we shot. So I think that's excellent performance from the Little Marlin. Needless to say, I am impressed with these 22 lever guns from Marlin. This is the original Golden 39 AS, and they really are super performing guns. One that a lot of us would probably help ourselves by looking at. Again, if you get a malfunction or misfire or something, that's all right, just leave her another cartridge in it. They're certainly accurate. In fact, maybe on next week's program, if we can get on again next week, we'll try and do a follow-up, maybe take it out to 50 yards and just see what the little gun will do. Because certainly at 25, that is way more accurate than Minute of Squirrel's, squirrel's head there. And that's what most of these guns will be used for, small game hunting. It really has some potential. A lot of people think, well, only bolt actions or the expensive heavy barrel custom automatics can be accurate, but that's not entirely true. Some of these other guns out here, other gun types, can also be extremely accurate. Okay, let's do a follow-up on it if we can. And, you know, I'm not against having a little fun.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. With one of these great Kimber, this is our shooting show model, full size, the Johnny Rowlands signature model. Well, you can make those hits out there with a mirror at 100 yards, and when you can make consistent hits on targets out at 200 yards, well, just imagine how easy it would be at 25 yards.
or at defense range. If you'd like to have one of our shooting show Kimbers, be it compact or the full-size model, or if you just want the best 1911 that money can buy at a very good price, the best factory production 1911 semi-automatic pistol ever built by any factory, give us a call here at the program, 318-377-5189, or you can write to us, send an FFL, we can wholesale these guns. Send an FFL to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Doberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024.
Okay, I'll try.
Stand by the studio. Take 44.
You ready?
Johnny, get it right this time.
I'll certainly try. I'm going to try, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, let's try and do it.
Once upon a time, men were free, could follow their dreams in liberty. But now there's a darkness that hides what we used to see, and we ask ourselves, just what do we truly believe? Oh, America, where have you gone? Oh, America, what have you become? Once we had a voice free to sing. Once we could say, let freedom ring. But now greed and power grip us all, and the liars and the cheaters have set us up for a ball. Oh, America, where have you gone? Oh, America, what have you become? In faith we celebrated all things good, and if we were free, most still would. But the tyrant's hot breath chills us all. For God and country, won't you please hear our call? Oh, America, where have you gone? Oh, America, what have you become?
Friends, we thought we'd put our video in there again because we've had a lot of requests for it from our viewing audience, and we really appreciate you folks liking certainly my songs and the way what we do. But what's more important is the message on the song. America, where have you gone? America, what have you become? And honestly, friends, what we have going on, you know, the whole deal right now, the Chinese prime minister, foreign minister, whoever, is in our country as I'm taping this today, and he's making jokes about Chinese espionage. Well, you know, friends, that's pretty serious if you ask me. They're making jokes about it. What they couldn't steal, they bought. They own the President of the United States. And you notice this little deal, which is terrible, because we may lose some American lives over in Kosovo, and that's serious when we lose American lives. But you see, these people in Washington could care less. It means nothing to them because somebody else's life means nothing. Now, that's what we got running the country right now. And I will remind you one more time, the Chinese military, the Chinese communists now control both ends of the Panama Canal. They're probably going to have a division of troops in there sometime next year. And Clinton could stop it, but maybe Clinton can't stop it because they own him. And you know, poor Juanita Broderick, that's all vanished from the headlines now. You know, she was raped by Clinton, according to her own testimony, according to witnesses that are still living. See, all that's gone, doesn't matter. She's poofed, gone off in the air. Now, friends, let me tell you what. If we're not careful, we as free Americans, or the concept of us being free Americans, is going to be poof, off in the air somewhere. If we don't start getting a little more serious and start working together on our side to get some things done, if we don't. You know, we've been talking about this for years, and of course the latest thing Clinton has done is cut off the import of ammunition into this country as far as we can find out. And we weren't terribly surprised at that, but you know, a lot of people got their start shooting surplus ammo gotten in from other countries. If it's cheap to go shoot something, you can learn how to shoot the gun, then you can buy you a nice rifle if you've been shooting some old surplus gun. And that's one of the things that has been a great help to all of us as developing shooters. So you see, friends, we're losing another brick in the wall, one at a time, at a time, at a time. That's why we've tried so hard to stay here, and we want to report to you that our friend Ed Hubble, we talked about this earlier in today's program, Ed is not a quitter, and Ed's going to have, I think he's going to have a program called the Shooting Express, but he is starting something called the Shooting Express Network, and we've been talking about this for literally for years on our program here about we've got to have a gun-friendly network. We can't have something like the Outhouse Channel that pretends to be friendly to guns until you talk about a real issue. And what good is a sporting program that shows you how much fun that guns used to be? We see we got to have some television all across the country that cable companies will take, and they'll take our show if there's other programming with it. So Ed is going to start, and we'll put this up on the screen. It is beginning on May 8th at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on satellite E2. Now, some of you may have that program for A1. It's actually a Canadian bird. Satellite E2 or A1 on Channel 6. Please make a note of this, because Ed has offered us a spot there at 8 o'clock on Saturday night, and he's going to have a 3 or 4 hour block, and this is at a reduced price, so this could really help us stay on the air anywhere we can cut costs, and having other pro-gun program along with us. This could be it is very, very important, because, friends, we're losing this battle because we don't have enough TV time. That's why we're losing. We don't reach enough Americans. You know, that's why the Hillary Clintons and the Justice Department can come into places like St. Louis and Kansas City and scare those people to death because they're not educated about what guns are about. That's how Hillary can appeal to these women who don't know much about guns. Well, you know what? If they're not told, they won't know much about guns. And we can do it. So please make a note of that. May 8th at 7 o'clock Eastern, the programming starts for the Shooting Express Network. That's on satellite E2 or A1, channel 6. And you should look for our program there about 8 o'clock. So also want to remind you, our kits, we're selling our kits for our 460 Rowland. It's off to a good start. It's certainly going to be months before it pays us what we know it will, but please hang in there with us, friends. Please tell somebody about our fantastic 460 Rowland cartridge and the kits we have available. If you'd like to make a donation to our project, or if you want to buy one of the kits or have one of your revolvers fitted, please remember our address. The Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dumberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. Our internet site, of course, is the / there, shootingshow.hypermart.net. And also, our Fun Gun Weekend is going to be the first weekend in June. Please make a note of that. Here at Clark Custom Guns, the Dan Wesson people are going to be back this year. We're going to have a great shooting exhibition. And also, I'm going to be in Sheffield, Alabama, on the 17th of this month, actually. We're going to have a meeting up there for shooters, a little seminar, and it ought to be a great time. Certainly, we invite you, if you're in that area, to come and be with us there. Let me talk about our support group now, a very important group of sponsors for us. Our Steadcraft Machine Shop, or the Steadcraft Machine Shop in Torrington, Connecticut. Their number is area 860-496-7001. We have our friend Dennis Crocker, firearms trainer in South Carolina. His number is area 864-587-8722. And Dennis also is going to be stocking Kramer holsters, the very finest holsters. So you can give Dennis a call about that. We have Custom Leatherwork and Saddlery in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Their number is area 504-667-9225. Camouflage Technologies, the folks that paint gun stocks, their number is area 909-674-6488. We have Flying Horse Galleries, the folks with great artwork on the web. You can find them at www.flyinghorse.net. Also, the Little River Trading Company in Cadiz, Kentucky. They specialize in Civil War, especially Confederate memorabilia. Their number is area 502-522-6167. And also BC Armory, our friend Bruce Warren, there in East Leroy, Michigan. His number is area 616-729-5508. Friends, please watch for our gospel show on Sunday morning from 10 to 10:30 Eastern Time on G6 Channel 7, and also our radio show on the American Freedom Network on SpaceNet 4, Channel 19, 5.82 audio from noon to 2 o'clock on Sundays. That's why we're doing everything we can to help our cause to stay on the air, friends. If you can donate anything at all, if you can join our GRA, please do. We need your help. We hope that we can see you on the next program.